I'm Jason Liggett, and I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Jennifer Ivory-Tatum this afternoon, Urbana School District 116 Superintendent. Dr. Tatum, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason, for having me.
Urbana School District 116 was scheduled to have their spring break the week of March 16th through the 20th. On March 13th, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced schools in the state of Illinois would be closed from March 17th through the 30th. What was it like for you to receive that news, and how did the district react to inform their students, parents, and the community?
So, as a district, we've been following what had been happening in other states. California and New York, again, were way ahead of us in some of the things that have been happening in Seattle. The Illinois State Board of Education had, kind of been sharing information with us as well. So it wasn't a complete surprise. I know we were hoping that it wouldn't come to that point where we would have to have school closures. But again, we'd been sharing information with families. We had just been watching how this was developing other places. We'd already shared some of the CDC guidelines with families around hand washing and symptomology. Our biggest message prior to the 13th was, if you feel sick, stay home. And we've just been sharing that out as much as we could via our messaging system, and again with our administrators and our staff. We wanted our staff to know, if you're not feeling well, please don't come to school. So again, the public health department had really been keeping us in the loop as well around the happenings of this in the state of Illinois and around the country. So we tried to get in front of it a little bit. Luckily for us, we had spring break, as you mentioned. So parent-teacher conferences were that Thursday and Friday. And we had a meeting at the regional office where we made a decision via a conference call with the public health department to, as a safety precaution, instead of having face-to-face conferences the night of the 12th, we quickly that day put messages out to families that we would not have face-to-face conferences. I think that maybe was a way of us kind of saying there's more to this than we all really originally thought there might be. So our staff just quickly mobilized, and we got messaging out to families saying parent-teacher conferences won't be at the school. We had email conferences, phone conferences. Teachers reached out to families via apps. So that was a way that we were hoping it would decrease the spread in our community by keeping everyone out of the schools. When we have conferences, we have large groups gathering on site. And based on some of the precautions that the public health department had shared with us just that week, we made a quick decision to do that. And so I think when the governor closed schools on the 13th, because of the things we've been hearing that week, it wasn't a shock, but it did kind of shock us into, we've got to get information out to families. Our goal has always been to be transparent, be honest, share information when we have information. Unfortunately, there are times when we don't know, and I can't answer everyone's questions as to the best of my ability. I try to do that, but they're just things that we find out, just like the rest of the state of Illinois, when the governor comes before us, is when we find out things as well. So our role and my role has just been, when I can answer questions, I will, as honestly as I can. We've tried to make sure our messaging has been calming. And we definitely don't want to encourage any anxiety. And we've just been trying to make sure our staff and families know we have a plan. And when these things rapidly change, as they have been, that we will communicate, we'll get information to them as quickly as we can.
The school closure has since been extended through April 7th. We've heard about colleges and universities' ability to move online courses, but that's not really an option at this time for K through 12. Has the district made any recommendations for at-home learning activities for Urbana students?
So sure, with the closure on the 13th, again, we were luckier than some districts because we were entering into our spring break. So our first message to families was go and enjoy your spring break, and to our staff who, were leaving that Friday. The downside to that is no one was here, so it was just the administrators, and 12-month staff during the week of spring break. We pulled together some teachers before everyone left for break, and we were able to get some at-home learning opportunity and engagement activities in the hands of kids and out to families. Again, that were just initially meant to provide some student engagement review, retention of information, keeping the students connected to learning during those first 6 days of the closure. At the time when we shared that information with families, we thought that it might go longer than March 30th, but of course, at that time, we weren't sure. So during spring break, we were here as administrators trying to develop a plan. And we've been working on what else can we provide families following the initial set of activities that we've shared. So we created a COVID-19 webpage as all of this has been happening. And so we've been uploading the Learning Anywhere, Anytime activities to the webpage. We did send home things with families. We have been collecting all the online free resources that we can and making those available to families through this initial period. But now that the closure has been extended through April 7th, we're working on a remote learning plan, is what we're calling it. We realize that technology and access to technology and internet access is not something that every single one of our students and families have. So we're also creating a plan to support families through devices in their homes, and as well as working with them to get them internet. As you probably know, as a tech person, that the community has responded to this. There are a lot of free resources for families right now in the community where people can get internet access. So we've been trying to help them individually as they've reached out to us. But again, part of our plan is moving forward. We know we're going to be out through April 7th. We're planning for in case there's an announcement that says it will be beyond April 7th. We're not thinking that might not happen. We're hoping that it doesn't, but we are being realistic and thinking that in the event we do need to go beyond the 7th, that we have learning opportunities and activities that we can get to every student, not just the students who have access to technology and internet.
Well, and certainly there's no students on the campus at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign for the rest of the semester. Their commencement, unfortunately, has been canceled for this spring. Have there been discussions about this happening for K through 12 education, primarily in Urbana?
So I have received lots of emails from students, as you can imagine, mostly seniors, who are asking about things like prom, graduation, and as of right now, we have the spring musical. There are just so many things that we had planned for our students through now and the end of the year that are just unknowns right now, unfortunately. I know that sounds really vague, but until the University of Illinois says to us, we're not able to have our graduation at State Farm Center. We've gone without using the State Farm Center before. While the State Farm Center was being remodeled for those 3 years, we held our graduation on the football field at McKinley Field. You probably remember that. We've been in the gym at UMS before. So if it comes to that, we will come up with a plan to make sure that we're able to have graduation. However, if we are not able to flatline the spread and we continue to see the number of cases that we are seeing every day, there may come a point in May or later in April where it's just not a reality that we're going to be able to have a large group. We have hundreds of people who come out for graduation. And so as of right now, we're just hoping by mid-May, we have until the end of May to figure this all out, but we're hoping that this does flatline. We're encouraging people as much as we can to stay at home so we can decrease the spread. We only have essential people working here because, of course, we have to keep students learning at home. So it requires a few of us to come in every day. But as much as possible, we're hoping that we're able to decrease the spread and that by the end of May, we're able to have graduation. Everything leading up to that is kind of on the table right now. Things like prom. I know the seniors don't want to hear that, but we haven't canceled it yet, but that might be on the horizon. But I know how important. I have a senior. My son is graduating this year, and I know it's heartbreaking for all of the opportunities that the students have lost. Trips during spring break and athletic events and sports and things that aren't happening. So we know those are all lost opportunities that we can't get back. But we're doing our very best to make sure that those big milestones in the students' lives continue to happen if we're able to have them happen.
Dr. Tatum, we're very fortunate to have a great public school system in Urbana. I want to leave on a positive note. I know everyone is happy to have you leading the district during these uncertain times. Can you share some of your favorite aspects of Urbana School District 116?
Thank you, Jason. That's really nice. Well, I think, one of the reasons I'm so happy to be back here is just the sense of community and family that we have here in Urbana. I know our theme this year has been Urbana Better Together, and that is so true. In the middle of this crisis and with everything happening, it doesn't surprise me one bit that our district has just pulled together. We really are family, and we're supporting one another. Whether it's teachers, TAs, principals, parents, community members. We've had so many people just willing to help with the meal program. I'm trying to make sure that, there are no families experiencing food insecurity. It's just been overwhelming, the response, and that is just Urbana. I mean, I know a crisis really brings people together, but we have felt that sense of togetherness all year. We really support one another, whether it's around students' events or celebrations or just learning and being a family at the schools. So, we're stronger in this, I think. We were already a really strong, cohesive community, but I think this is just bringing us even closer together. And I think one of the other aspects of our community that I love is the diversity. As an African-American woman, I have just enjoyed getting to know so many different students. Formerly as the principal at King, I was used to working with really rich cultural communities, with the international families. But when you look at our students, they connect with one another. Our families connect with one another. We just don't have those racial divides in this community. We really work together and support one another. So I think that is another great reason to be in Urbana and why I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's Dr. Jennifer Ivory-Tatum with Urbana School District 116. For more information on Urbana School District, you can visit their website at usd116.org or follow them on social media.